We're now with Information Technology Services, and we have Councilmember Pridemore with us, who is the Vice Chair of the Budget and Finance Committee. Keith, if you would like to introduce your colleagues and then make whatever presentation you'd like to make.
I'd be happy to, Mr. Mayor. Thank you again for your time and for your consideration of our operating budget request. On a personal basis, I do want to thank you for allowing me to lead ITS for 5 years now and to develop a team that I think provides exceptional services to the departments and agencies of Metro government. With me, I've got my core leadership team, who include Margaret Keck, ITS's Assistant Director of Communication and Infrastructure Services, Cindy Maddox, our Division Manager for Employee and Account Care, and in the back, I've got Betty Shin, Chief Information Security Officer, Dawn Clark, the Assistant Director for Business Application Solutions and Support, Andy Glover, Assistant Director for Customer Support Services, and Tony Phillips, our new Manager of Field Support. I also have to thank our Metro 3 staff and crew members who have televised this event, and in doing so provide a very huge public service.
You beat me to that. They do a great job. They do a great job.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
It's been flawless. And I should note that Councilman Stein is back in the room with us.
Welcome, Councilman. So we've got PEG Manager Mary Newton, Chris Singleton, Aaron Coles, Michael Kilbane, and Terry Hirsch. And as an aside, before I get started, the work they do for your meetings is seen live on Comcast, as in the past, but for the first time, Metro's public education and government TV channels are also available now on AT&T's UVerse service. In addition, each of these departmental budget hearings are available for review again within 24 hours on Metro's YouTube channel.
Rich will be taking advantage of that.
So it's on UVerse now?
It is on UVerse as of last week.
You'll have to explain to us how to get that. Mr. Hino and I are technically challenged, and since we are UVerse customers, we might need to learn how to do that.
Everything is on Channel 99. So go to Channel 99, look for Public Education and Government and Metro Nashville, and you can watch all the hearings over again.
I look forward to that this evening. Greg, what about you?
Can't wait. Would you like to come over?
We might have ourselves a little cookout.
Hope you'll have a great time. But moving on, as you're aware, Information Technology Services is a department that exists to support the technology needs of other Metro departments and agencies. At some level, we provide support for all of the agencies of the general government and the judicial branch, and also other agencies of Metro, including the Hospital Authority, Metro Nashville Public Schools, MTA, and Nashville Electric Service. We strive to do so in a collaborative environment, working towards solutions that maximize the return on IT investment for our taxpayers. Our basic business model is to provide the common commodity infrastructure and routine IT services so that departments can focus on the activities that provide direct impact for their business objectives. So things like managing Metro's wired and wireless data networks, email, server management, telephones, and PC and desktop support are all the things that we do along with systems that are essential to operations across multiple departments, such as Kiva, the land management and permitting system, our HR and financial system that we call EBS, and our Nashville.gov website, among other things. And we really do appreciate your support for our business model. A few of the accomplishments that we've had over the past year and some of the major kind of ongoing long-term projects that we're working on right now include providing the data and telephone network design and implementation services for 30-plus Metro construction projects, including the Sound Stadium, the Riverfront Park, the new Lentz facility, multiple police precincts, multiple fire halls, parks facilities, and water service facilities, to name just a few. We're also continuing the rollout of the Metro Public Wi-Fi internet that you and the council budgeted last year, soon to cover 50 locations, including the courthouse, county clerk sites, Parks Regional Community Centers, and many more sites. We currently have ongoing the implementation of the Kronos time and attendance system for general government departments and MNPS, along with Davidson County Sheriff's Office. And finally, the replacement of Kiva with the new land and permitting application from CityWorks. turning now to our budget scenario, due to a couple of fortuitous changes in contracting and changing systems needs, ITS was able to meet our requested 3% budget reduction across our two funds through the use of reduction in contracts. However, I'd also like to, at this point, take the opportunity to discuss briefly the opportunity that we took to propose a request for $850,000 in improvements to support some very specific initiatives. Over the past several years, ITS has developed a number of new lines of business that are new to Metro in support of services and systems on an enterprise or Metro-wide basis. These services were developed at the time through capital funds in close collaboration with other departments and agencies of the government. The systems include Linnell, which is the new non-proprietary card key security system that is now standard in all new Metro buildings that we developed alongside General Services. Another new service to Metro is the security camera system, which offers a secure but interoperable platform by which the MNPD and other agencies can access cameras of their own, but with appropriate security and permissions, cameras operated by other departments and agencies as well, such as Metro Parks, Water Service, and the Health Department, all of which are taking part in this enterprise-wide system at this point. As these systems near the end of capital funding, we look to move funding to an operating budget source. Thus, I request funds for 2.5 positions to support these and related security-type positions. Moving on to the financial arena, the same concept applies to funding for 3 additional new positions that we seek to support the new employee self-service system used by all Metro employees, the new Kronos time and attendance system, which we'll be rolling out later this summer, and the growth of our accounting and financial system, EBS. Next, our land project, the Kiva replacement project, is on schedule to be complete in the first quarter of 2015. And upon its completion, a key resource who first helped lead the migration to Kiva over 10 years ago, Bill Wassell, is now helping lead the migration to CityWorks as his swan song, basically. He intends to retire shortly after the project completion. So I'd ask for a single position to be funded at the beginning of fiscal 2015 to be used to hire his successor so that they may overlap and he or she may receive on-the-job training. Once he retires, we'll return that position to finance without refilling it. And finally, funding for 1 position will enable ITS to support the fire department in management of PCs and laptops across their facilities as we together with them move to transition the Nashville Fire Department to the same IT support model that we use in most other departments, general government departments at least. Once again, thank you for your support and for allowing ITS to serve and support Metro departments and agencies.
Great, thank you. Could you give us, one of the things we worked on early when you came into this position was IT security.
Yes.
How is that going?
The program has gone very well. As you are aware, with your approval, we put out a couple of executive orders that address security directly and that provide a basis in international standards around which we built our security program. With your help, we have hired a Chief Information Security Officer, Betty Shin being the current person in that role, and we have developed a roadmap in a very collaborative manner among other departments and agencies that aren't necessarily within the general government, such as DCSO and JIS and the justice community, to together come up with a set of policies and practices that we now see benefits of every day. Part of the Windows 7 project is allowing us to do things that are security and industry best practices, such as at the end of Windows 7, all Metro PCs will be encrypted unless there is some sort of an exception around it with no impact to the end user. In fact, most people don't even know they're encrypted, but it's a huge step in individual device security. We also have an email phishing campaign by which we seek to educate Metro employees on very targeted emails that come from the bad guys, and so we want to educate our employees and at if they click on them, we give them a little opportunity for education so that they hopefully don't click the next time. So I feel that we made great strides in the 5 years that I've been here and since then, since you came into office. So thank you for the opportunities there.
Thank you. Could you explain the difference between Kiva and CityWorks?
So Metro has a land and permitting system that is used by 10 departments directly with feeders out into, I think at the last count, it was 26 total departments and agencies use the information that is contained within that parcel. Includes things like permits, permit applications, plan review, violations, just a myriad of types of data. And currently the system that we've used that's over 10 years old is an application called Acela Kiva. It has done great things. Terry Cobb and his organization have received national awards for how robust and advanced that system is. However, it has seen its day, so we are in the midst of a major project, major capital project, involving all of those departments and agencies collaboratively to move to the next version. It's a product called CityWorks that we intend to go live with next January or February. I don't think the date's been set. But it's a perfect example of collaborative work across many, many departments and agencies led by strong project managers, which also, just to keep everyone on the same page, internal audit has actually been tagging along and helping, just doing little checks here and there, which is unusual but welcome in a project of this magnitude.
Okay. And your organizational chart has changed somewhat.
It has changed. It hasn't necessarily changed in terms of the functions that we provide. What has changed is where staffing has, the people around me have changed.
Has that resulted in more efficiencies, or how would you?
I think that what it has done, it has resulted in not only additional efficiencies, but it's also resulted in better service to Metro departments and agencies. Not that people we've had in positions across the board haven't been that in the past, but we've got a new focus on that and have had for several years now. We've got actually an initiative called ITS at Your Service, which we're providing internal customer service training that covers our department, as well as training on IT best practices. And we're putting those into effect in everything we do. So I do think that the changes that we've made have made an impact to the positive for Metro.
Okay, Greg,
I actually have a couple of questions. Keith, can you talk a little bit about the security group position, the video management, and sort of what that role is and the impact of that, the one you're asking for?
Absolutely. So the system we're using is a product that allows us to provide centralized management while at the same time allowing a department who's using that system, such as the fire department or the police department, to manage their own cameras. It requires management on our side. It requires us to have someone who is available to provide backup to those departments and agencies should they have issues. And right now, again, it is being paid for through capital funding. Right. So the loss of that takes away the ability to manage that centrally and provide the support that we need.
Is this new?
It's within the last 2 years.
Yeah, I thought, yeah.
It's in the last 2 years that we've put that in place. And it's kind of a corner for some of the initiatives that the police chief has going on.
Yesterday, we did the budget hearings for OEM and fire, and in both of those budget hearings, there was a discussion about IT needs related to OEM and that,
yes,
as well as the fire department. But OEM more specifically is what I'm interested in. Were you heading the right way with those recommendations? Have you seen those?
I think they are. We were instrumental in working with them directly to put together a set of recommendations. We talked to 15 people in various roles within the department and within fire and police, and ECC, put together a very defined set of things. And as far as I can tell, at this point, they are marking walking down the list, marking through those. I think one of the things that was requested was a part-time position to be used at OEM, and that came from a recommendation from me. I personally don't feel they need a full-time dedicated person. I think they need more time in the short term as they implement solutions, and then that person can be used somewhere else.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
Sure.
Rich?
Well, I guess sort of following on that, I think it's not something to solve right now, but I think if you look at all of the IT costs throughout the government, it's obviously grown tremendously over the last decade as needs arise. I think it would be an exercise worth thinking about is what group ought to look at how we look at this in the future because of I think the decentralization of it to a certain degree. Different people are doing different things. And I just think from a whole government perspective, we're not going to be able to continue to fund what everybody wants. There's going to have to be some kind of system put into place where, like a group that's going to make recommendations on where the improvement's going to be. And I'm not really expecting an answer today on how you do that, but I think there's something we ought to think about putting together because I think it's going to be critical because you've got, there's no lack of needs in IT, but there's got to be some prioritization of what's getting done to make sure that basic services are done and then what's most important. So I don't know how we do that, but I think it's something that's going to be critical going forward.
Well, there are very definite standards and models for IT governance that are used in cities across the country. So I'm happy with your support to look into those in the coming months and to develop a model going forward. I'm happy to do that.
IT is a cost center in our government's not going to diminish over
No,
the next decade.
I know that. I'm not expecting it to, but I expect it to go up. But I want to make sure it goes up efficiently and strategically. Right, that's all I'm saying.
Prudently, that too.
At this juncture.
You have any other questions, Rich, or any other statements?
No, sir, that's the only statement I'm going to make today.
Good.
But you didn't think I was going to make a statement about IT? When you walked in here this morning, you had all these other budget hearings, but you didn't think IT was the one I was going to ask questions about.
We appreciate it.
I like to surprise every once in a while.
No, there was a very thoughtful statement, too.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you for your hard work. You've done a great job. Your department does a great job. We're thankful, and we'll do the best we can with the budget. So stay tuned. And we'll be back tomorrow, I think.
We are. We have a full day tomorrow.
A full day tomorrow. Thank you.
18 hearings tomorrow, so everybody's
Okay, something to look forward to. Good. All right.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.